Hello viewers, welcome again to my channel. So the first March of IELTS exam will be on 7th March and on the 9th March. On 7th March there's only academic and on 9th March there will be academic as well as general training. So in this video I'll be discussing do's and don'ts for IELTS writing task 2 essay, which applies to both academic as well as general training students. So in this video, I'll be discussing two scenarios. First scenario for those who want 8 and above in the IELTS writing. Second for those whose target band is only 6. So starting with the first scenario, the target band score, whose target band score is 8 bands. So the very first point that you should keep in your mind is relevancy of your answers and answering all the parts of the question, which means your answer should be relevant to the question. Before writing and before planning the essay, you had to analyze the question very carefully. You have to comprehend, understand the question carefully. After that, you should plan and answer all the parts of the question. Don't go out of track. Answer each and every part of the question, and answer should be relevant as well to the question. For example, if I say the question type is discuss both views and give your own opinion. So in this part of essay, you have to discuss both views. You have to give intro, BP1 first view, BP2 second view, and BP3 your opinion, and last BP will be your conclusion. So this is how you have to answer each and every part of the question, and this will only happen if you will understand and analyze the question before you start to writing your IELTS essay. So moving on to the next point becomes your clear presentation. You should present a clear position. So for example, if the question says, what is your opinion? You have to clearly state your opinion. I believe that, according to me, according to my point of view. Don't assume examiner knows itself. You have to mention, I believe that according to my opinion. This is very important. So moving on to the next point. Next point is organization of your essay and organization of your each and every paragraph of the essay. You should logically organize your essay into different paragraphs. For example, if the question says, what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages? So in this type of essay, start with intro, BP1 advantages, BP2 disadvantages, and last conclusion. Here the main point is look for the plurals like advantages. If the question mentions advantages, disadvantages, you have to mention minimum 2 advantages and minimum 2 disadvantages. The other case, if the question says do the advantages outweigh disadvantages, so in this case you have to clearly state first of all your opinion. Do the advantages are more or the disadvantages are more? After that, if you agree the advantages outweigh, then you have to mention minimum 3 advantages and 2 disadvantages. As you know, the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. So this was the second point. You should clearly organize your essay into different paragraphs. Now coming to the organization of the body paragraphs. The organization of the body paragraphs is very important. So here are some different points by which you can organize your body paragraphs coherently and cohesively. The first thing is the method of writing the body paragraph. It is called the peel method, where P is the main point, E is example, next E states your explanation of your example, and L means linking or transition to the next body paragraph. So this is the format of the body paragraph, and within the body paragraphs there are certain things which you should keep in your mind. The very first thing is using phrases and linking verbs. Don't overuse phrases, don't overuse linking words, and don't start every sentence with a phrase or a linking verb. Try to use linking words and phrases with variations. For example, if you want to write however some people believe that, instead of writing this statement, you can write some people believe however that dash. So here in this case, I have written the phrase in the center. You should also try to write the phrases with different variations, somewhere in starting and middle and in the ending. In this way, you can write your essay with variations. So this is how you can add variations in your sentences. Now next thing comes the example. BP1 and BP2 should contain minimum at least one example, and that too from your real life example. Don't put the memorized answers, don't put the memorized examples like a survey say that research conducted dash dash dash. So these are not considered as authentic examples. Moving on to the next point, don't include cramped phrases, cramped templates, cramped answers. These are easy to spot for the examiners. They are international level examiners, so they can easily spot which essay is cramped, which phrases is cramped, which templates have you copied or not. So try to use your language as much as you know. Don't try to produce a cramped essay, a cramped template, or a memorized phrases. Use your own language, write your essay in your own language, in your own phrases. So moving on to the next point, you have to use variety of sentence structures in your IELTS essay if you want to score 8 and above in your IELTS writing. So what do I mean by variation in sentences? Sentence structures include different types of sentences, starting from simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence, conditional sentence, and passive sentence. I have already uploaded 2 videos on different types of sentence structures. I'll drop the link in the description box below. So you have to write at least 3 conditional sentences for 8 and above target scores. So 3 conditional sentences, for example, you can write sentence with if, whether, and although. So these are some types of conditional sentences which you can include in your essay to score 8 and above in your IELTS writing. And also you should include passive sentences, simple sentences, complex sentences, and other sentences as well. Second thing is, don't use the basic linkers like firstly, secondly. Use some adverbial phrases. For example, you can write the very first major problem could be dash. The main fundamental reason could be dash. So you can use these types of adverbial phrases in your IELTS essay. Moving on to the next point comes the vocabulary. You should reuse a wide range of vocabulary if you want to score 8 and above. Lekin, the thing is that you should use these vocabulary in the correct context and with the correct spellings. Using the vocabulary words with the correct spellings and in the correct context will give you 8 and above. But if you will use these vocabulary words in wrong context with the wrong spellings, you will end up losing your band scores. So considering this point, moving on to next is this uses of synonyms. Don't overuse the synonyms. Just one and two are more than enough. And don't use informal language. Don't use informal synonyms like toddlers, kinders, infants. Use children, learners, educators, educationalists. These types of synonyms, these kinds of words are good enough. Right? So moving phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs, if you are using, use them with the correct preposition. If you will use incorrect preposition, the meaning of whole preposition, the meaning of whole phrasal verb will change. For example, the meaning of throw up and meaning of throw out are different meanings if you know these meanings. So if you are using phrasal verbs, make sure you are again using it in the right context only. So next comes the idioms. Don't use idioms. Idioms are not allowed for IELTS writing task 2 essay, and contractions are also not allowed for writing task 2 essay. Don't use contractions, don't use idioms, and don't use proverbs in your IELTS writing task 2 essay. I have seen many students writing these things in essay. So I always make sure not to use these kinds of things in your IELTS writing task 2 essay. Moving on to the next point is using the punctuations. You should use punctuations in your IELTS to make it more coherent, to make it look more organized, so that you can score 8 and above. So using the punctuations, but again in the right context, is very important. Capitalization of letters, using commas, full stops, question mark, and inverted commas. These all punctuation marks are very, very important if you want 8 and above in your IELTS writing. Next comes the checklist. Checklist means you should finish your task 1 and task 2 within 55 minutes, so that you have last 5 minutes and you can check your task 1 and task 2 in last 5 minutes and can find out your mistakes. You can correct your own mistakes so that you can boost up your score from 0.5 to even 1 band by finding and correcting out your mistakes. So these were some points for the scenario of 8 and plus band students. Now discussing the students whose target band is only 6. So these are basically, I have collected 4 crucial aspects which you should keep in your mind to score 6 band in your IELTS writing. The first thing is grammar. Your grammar should be simple and correct. Don't try to use very complex grammar. Use simple grammar and use it correctly. Second, don't use complex vocabulary words. Use only those words which are you familiar with and do it correctly. Spell it correctly. Third thing is, if you are using punctuation marks, make sure to use these punctuation marks correctly. And last and the main fourth point is, examiner should not find even a single mistake in your essay. Make sure of this thing. Whether you want 8 bands or whether you are a 6 band target student, make sure that examiner should not find even a single mistake in your essay. If you are able to do this thing correctly, then I guarantee you can definitely score 7 and even above in your IELTS writing task 2 essay. So in the end, do check your own task 1 and task 2. Do find your own mistakes, correct your own mistakes so that you can score your desired band scores in IELTS writing task 2 essay. So I'll be discussing more things like this in my upcoming videos. And if you like this video, do like, share and subscribe my channel for more daily videos on IELTS. Until then, stay safe, stay happy and stay healthy.